Hey y'all, welcome to Craftable Things. I'm Patrice, and y'all, today's video has me super nervous. This might just be a hot mess. All right, y'all, so I've been gone on vacation for 4 days and I have not used my Epson Eco-Tank 8550, which I converted into a DTF printer because I wasn't here. And they do have software where you can print wirelessly from wherever you're located, but I didn't do that either. So today we are about to see how well our printer is doing, and I just want to show you all, I did take some or print some before print so you guys could see. So as you all can see, the white ink was printing beautifully, and I actually printed this the evening before I left for vacation. So we're gonna see, and this was the front. So everything was printing as it should, minus that little scrape down there. I scratched it. But everything was printing fine, and I just don't know. We are about to see. So let's get started. Okay, so we are at my craft table, and what we're gonna do first is we want to just do a check. And so I'm just gonna use a bit of painter's tape so that once the nozzle check prints out, this will help me be able to see my white ink, okay? And so I learned this tip from, I think Bad Brad might have told me this is what he does. Don't remember, I think so. All right, so I'm just gonna lay this here because this is typically where the nozzle check prints, and we're gonna see just how much damage we have to try to repair. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to place this inside of our printer, and so you just want to pull out your tray. I'm gonna leave this paper in, but what you wanna make sure is that you actually turn your paper face down when you have your painter's tape on or whatever you choose to put there. And so I'm just going to slide this up, and then we're going to put it through. Now I am just going to head over to maintenance, and the top option is print head nozzle check, and so I'm going to select print head nozzle check just so that we can see what it's going to look like. And we have our paper in there. Imagine it prints out perfectly, y'all. Imagine. And what do we have here? We have, okay, so everything, all the other colors printed out beautifully. We have our white, our magenta, our yellow, or well, this is our black and magenta, our yellow and cyan printed beautifully. But as you all see, there is absolutely no white. There should be 2 boxes of white right here. So what shall we do? So the next option is for me to say, you know what, everything didn't print the way that I wanted it to print out. Click this X, and then it's going to do a print head cleaning. I'm going to skip all of that because I know it's been 4 days, and that print head cleaning is probably not going to solve our problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell the machine, you know what, you did a good job. Next, I'm going to go to power cleaning. And it's possible that I may have to adjust the waste tank, but we will see. So let's click power cleaning, and I'm sure it's going to tell me something, but you do want to read this if you've never done it before. It's just telling you exactly what you're going to do and what to expect. We're going to click OK. So right now it's telling me that I need to replace the maintenance box in order to perform the power cleaning. So I'm going to say OK. All right. It says it's near full. The product number for the waste tank, it gives you all that information. We're just going to select next. All right, so I'm going to go back. Click next. Well, I'll just say yes, replace now. All right, so let's go ahead and replace our power tank. Okay, so for this part, I have on my gloves because we're going to be playing around with this tank, the waste tank, and it does have ink inside of it. So we are just going to go ahead and open that. And I do have an external makeshift type of tank attached to it, so that's why you see this tube. And I usually keep the tube in place because the tube, it fits, but it's a little bit larger, just slightly larger than the actual it's a spout that comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and to remove this, you have to kind of slide it back, and this is the tank. And so I just stuff it with like cotton or paper towels, depending on what I have handy. All right, and some of the ink did spill inside, and so I'm just going to use a paper towel just to clean up some of that ink, and then I'll restuff it again, and we're going to connect it back. But before we do that, we're going to have to reset the chip right here. You don't want to touch that chip. You don't want to ever submerge this in water. So that's why I'm using the paper towel to clean it. So this is the chip resetter that we're going to be using today. And I am just going to line this up. It does sometimes take a few tries to do it, but you just have to be patient. So what you want is there is a light here. So you want that light to blink green. So you just kind of match it up right there. No, it does sometimes it happens right away, and then sometimes not. So we're just going to keep putting it on. All right, so now it's reset. And so it has to be reset in order for you to be able to put it back into the machine. If not, the printer will still read this as it's being full. Okay, so I'm just going to slide this back in. And then you should hear a click. You want it to be flushed against. You don't want to be able to push it anymore, okay? It needs to be flushed to that part of the printer. And then the spout will be sticking through the hole. If you guys could really see in there. So that's what I mean. Like there's a little hole right here. Well, where's the hole? There's a little hole right here, and that's where the tube is going to go on top of. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the tube to that spout, because that is where the ink shoots out from as you're printing, and the wasted ink needs someplace to go. It usually goes in here. So typically this is full of like gauze material, and it soaks the ink up. The printer pretty much detects when your waste tank should be filled, and so that's why you need the chip resetter to, you know, reset it, and you can keep using the same one instead of purchasing a new one. So I just use a little painter's tape to keep it in place because I do it often, but you can find some clamps that will clamp it on there good, but this works pretty good for me. Next, I will stuff the bottom with paper towel or cotton, depending on what I have handy. And right now, today's material is going to be paper towel, and I just kind of like to keep it there. Just stabilizes the ink tank, and you don't want, or the waste tank, and you don't want that ink really to just fill into the waste tank, because that is going to cause a big mess. So you don't want that. So that's why you need to have something to soak up that ink. If you are wondering, the other side of the tube is connected to this Dunkin' cup, and usually once this is full, I'll discard of the ink, or sometimes before. I didn't really have time today to really go and do it. Doesn't take much time. I usually just dump this outside. But this is where that ink, that wasted ink goes, instead of having it pile up inside of that waste tank and then eventually getting into the printer and then ruining the printer. So you do want to have something like this, but just an FYI. All right, so right now we are ready to proceed, and I'm just going to select next. It says maintenance box not installed. We're going to select next because that was the screen that I was on. Install maintenance box correctly. Done. And so if everything went correctly, we should be able to begin with our power cleaning. So now I'm still in maintenance. I'm going to select power cleaning. And this is the same prompt that came up before. I'm just going to click OK. Check the instructions shown on the following screen. I'm going to click yes, enter the check to proceed to the next step. Power cleaning, and it just told you what power cleaning does. You want to make sure that your ink levels are above 30%. I'm going to click agree. Okay, and then try power cleaning again only after you've waited at least 12 hours and saw no improvement. So it says don't do multiple power cleanings back to back. Hopefully this will work the first time. Then I'm going to select I confirm. Okay, and then the ink inside the tube is deposited to the maintenance box. Okay. And then you just want to check your maintenance box afterwards, but with the chip resetter, you really don't have to worry too much about that. I'm going to click I agree. And then you need to press OK for 5 seconds. All right, so it says that this is going to take about 6 minutes. Once this is done, it will print out another nozzle check. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same paper that we used before because that white didn't print anyway. So we're going to check that. We're going to use this one. So again, I'm just going to put it in the same way that we did before. So the power cleaning is done. And it usually says, or it always says, the print quality will improve after 12 hours. I'm going to select OK. And then I'm also going to print the print head nozzle check. And so that's the first option. All right, and so here we have, after just that one power cleaning, so we have the gray, we have the magenta, we have the yellow, the cyan, and this is how our white printed out. And so there is a break in the line or the box for the white, but I'm not really worried about that. That's not a big deal to me. I did see after the power cleaning, like there's a break at the top. The cyan, the yellow looks pretty good. The magenta, there's like 2 breaks. And then the black, there is a break in the black. But for the most part, I'm happy with this. It doesn't have to be perfect for me to get good results, as long as that white is doing well. And right now it's doing well. Okay, y'all, so everything looks good. I'm very pleased with the results. And as you saw, I didn't use any cleaning solution. I didn't do anything major. All I did was, of course, I had to replace the waste tank, or at least reset the waste tank. But all I did was a power cleaning, and that one power cleaning actually got the job done. Now, if you don't have an external waste tank, a power cleaning may be an issue for you because you won't be able to reset your waste tank, and you'll have to order another waste tank. And what I've found is that with this particular printer, as long as I'm able to do the power cleaning, I usually have pretty decent success. I've never gone this long without printing on my machine. And so I'm very happy or pleased to see that it did work in this case. Like everything printed pretty fine so far, just with that one power clean. But it does make it a little difficult if you don't have an external waste tank. All right, so let's print out an image and see how the print quality is going to be on our image. Okay, y'all, so now we're inside of Digital Factory CAD-Link, and this is the RIP software that I use to print out my images. If you want more information on printing and adjusting your whites and different things like that, please head over to Digital Factory CAD-Link's YouTube channel. They have tons of information and videos that are super helpful. And as I'm still learning DTF and everything, I do find that to be a great resource for me. Okay, so right now we are just going to go ahead and print this out on our printer. And as you see over here, I have my ink order, which matches the ink order of my printer. You can adjust this. If you ever have any issues with your colors, you always want to make sure that the ink order matches. And sometimes it does change in the system, so you want to make sure that it's always correct, okay? And so I'm just going to leave everything else the same. I am printing on a 13 by 19 piece of paper, and it actually looks pretty good for me. And it is mirrored, and of course, that's what I want, okay? I want it to be mirrored. So let's go ahead and click onto our file, and this is our file. And I am going to print it. So right now our design is printing, but I did want you to note that I do have this board here because if you've never seen one of my videos before for DTF, if this prints out or image prints out and there isn't anything stable underneath, that ink will start to smear and it will droop. And you don't want that because you will be wasting ink and you will also be wasting your paper. But I did want you guys to see that my board is there. And here's a look inside at Ghost, and that is the name of my DTF printer, and Ghost is doing some beautiful work. Something right here is not doing as it should, so I'll have to investigate that a little bit later. There is something dragging, so I'm gonna keep letting it print out. Hopefully it will get better. This side looks good. Alright, so now we are done with printing this out, and I do have something dragging, so I'm just going to lightly place a piece of paper towel underneath the print head and just try to move whatever it is. That is pretty much on this side that kind of drags when it goes here, so it could be some dried ink that's under there. It could be a small piece of paper that might have torn while underneath. There's no telling, but we are definitely going to see what that is. But I did want you guys to see the final print, and it looks good. These colors also look amazing. And even where that part is, all I'm gonna do is get a Q-tip and just wipe that white away. All right, y'all, so I'm just going to get a Q-tip and I am just going to wipe this ink away. And you just got to be steady. If you do choose to do something like this, you do have to be steady. Why I'm doing this is because when I place the adhesive powder on top, that adhesive powder is going to stick to the white, and I don't want that. This does not have to be a wasted print. If you're printing this on a white shirt, you don't really have to do that because it's not going to be seen. But I don't know what color shirt I'm going to be printing these on or pressing these on. So I'm just going to do this. And down here, it's not so bad. So it started getting better as it printed. So whatever is there, it probably started like either moving or dissolving. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some of the adhesive powder on top, just because you want to do this fairly quickly. You don't want it to sit, because this is when it takes the adhesive powder best, right after you print it out. Once I'm done with that, I am just going to take my sheet and kind of just roll that adhesive powder to make sure it's coating the entire image. I'll do one roll. You don't have to do too much, believe me, that ink absorbs that powder. All right, and then I'm just going to tap it. It looks very, very crystallized. I don't know if you guys could really see that, but yeah, you can see it. So we are going to place this inside of our convection oven and cure the ink. So I'm just going to go ahead again and wipe it off. As you see, there was some leftover ink right there. And so I just want to go ahead and remove that adhesive powder and that ink, because we don't need it. And when you're doing this, I have to tell you, you need gloves on, and you also want to make sure you have something protecting your lungs. So a mask is always suggested. All right, y'all, so I went ahead and cured our images, and I over cured this one. Look at it in comparison to one that has been properly cured. I walked away and I started playing around on the computer, and within seconds this was like this. So I typically cured these inside of my convection oven at 320 degrees for about 20 to 25 seconds, and usually this is my result here. So this is how it looks. The skin is often said to be, or the skin, the ink and the adhesive often is said to turn into like a orange peel or alligator skin. And so that is what you want. You want it to look like that. And it still has the white behind it. That's what helps it to pop off of different colors. And this, well, I can still use it, but you don't really want to over cure it. Okay, and so in the over cured one, the print still has that orange peel alligator skin look to it. It just turned like a tan color, like an off-white color, and we don't want that. All right, y'all, so maybe that was not the hottest of messes that I thought it was going to be, and it was a simple fix to get that white up and running, which honestly, that's what I usually do when the white starts to act a little weird or I haven't been shaking the printer. I usually do a power cleaning. I don't usually use much of the solution because I do feel like it might be a little harsh for the material inside, for the plastic that Epson uses in this particular printer. So I tried not to use that solution or the cleaning solution as much as possible, unless I'm trying to clean underneath the print head. But I am very happy with our print today. The white is printing beautifully. And I forgot to mention, for all of my DTF supplies, the film, the ink, the solution, I use Big Boy Print, and I will have a link listed to his site in case you're interested in getting any of the ink or the film or anything that he offers for DTF. I am always pleased with the outcome of my prints and the quality of these transfers. So I've had this printer for about 5 months, a little over 5 months, and it's not the easiest of printers. If you don't have any experience, and I mean like experience with printers, knowing their parts and different ways to troubleshoot on your own, I would not necessarily suggest getting this printer. I would look for a printer that is more capable of DTF. With this printer, you cannot shake your white. There's no way to take out a cartridge because it is an Eco-Tank. So you can get a assist system. I have not chosen to connect a assist system to this printer yet. I do want to see how it works with very little manipulation. And so far it works, but it takes a lot of work. Okay, and so I don't want you all leaving away thinking that, wow, her printer is still printing. She's still, you know, it's looking good. She's able to fix it really quickly. I was hoping that this was going to be a little more difficult, but honestly, y'all, it really isn't. The power cleanings with this printer does amazingly. The only thing I would let you guys know is I would not recommend this printer if you want to do transfers. I know doing transfers is really, really big now, and selling transfers. So I would not recommend this printer. You may want to look at other printers if you are considering doing transfers. So that's it. I enjoyed my vacation. The anxiety that I had while on vacation about this printer, I should have just left all that anxiety back at home. But I did take it with me. And I'm so happy and relieved that everything is printing out just fine now. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button that's listed below. I would love to have you there. In addition, head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join Craftable Things there as well. But that is going to be it for today, y'all. It seems as though I might need a vacay from the vacay. Until next time, y'all.